But yeah, around that era is when they split the Tails team into two teams. One of them made like stuff that was more like Symphonia, and one made stuff more like the old games. And then they reunited when I think they made Vesperia, and then they were like, "Yeah, this is the direction going forward."
Gotcha. I didn't know that the Tails team went full Techland for a little bit there.
I mean, it was just completely different squads, and they were making games that were all good, just very different styles. That's why Tales of Legendia exists.
Ah, good to know.
What system was Legendia for?
PS2. I have a copy of it behind me.
We could be here all day if we were going through things that Craig has a copy of behind.
This one.
Oh wow, you literally had that right behind you.
Just play that. Let's just all play that game of I was holding a copy of blank not 2 days ago conversation.
Yeah.
That is impossible for me because I haven't left my apartment and I know everything that I own at this point.
Oh, I was cleaning. I also did this.
Wow,
I touched a majority of my Nintendo.
Oh, Symphonia's over here too.
Original Xbox games.
Nice.
This copy of Symphonia is over here. This copy of fucking Binary Domain.
Hell yeah!
50-cent Blood on the Sand.
Hell yeah!
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist to the Roses.
Hell yeah! Look at all these good video games.
Oh, I can't wait for us to Extra Life because now that I've unlocked that generation of consoles for our stream.
Oh yeah, we could probably play the Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game on a stream.
Yep, we can.
It's gonna be very stupid. All right, let's get started. I don't know why I just clapped like fucking Austin Creed, but here we are. So, last time, welcome. So last time around, you guys had completed your descent into the archives of Break. You fought some very creepy monsters that Phaedra suddenly remembered she had the ability to just sort of make go away.
Not Phaedra, Heather. Heather suddenly remembered. Difference.
Sure. And then continuing forward from there, you stepped into a chamber where 90% of you were overcome with a zone of truth spell, and greeted with a faceless automaton calling themselves the Keeper. The Keeper, you guys asked various questions of the Keeper and received a shit ton of information. So for anybody watching this, apologies. This episode's probably going to be a lot of sifting through the shit ton of information that was dictated last time. But included in that was the potential discovery of the current heir of the Throne of Break, coming from Sai, in fact.
Hey.
And you all learned a way to test that. If it doesn't work, Sai may be eviscerated, but we'll find out about that.
But it won't be the first time that happens, so let's roll.
You've also discovered all the names of the people that have been touched and are therefore part of the prophecy you've been searching for, including one that may be in the city of Break right now by the name of Krem. You have a bunch of other stuff that I'm not going to re-listigate here, but if it comes up, we'll talk about it. And then you also discovered that there are a couple of different things. One, that many of the people who were touched by the chaoses, much like Marleman, are also individuals represented in the prophecy. You don't know why that is yet. That other information that we'll see if it comes up, and that Petunia, Marleman's dearest, faintest love, is not tracked in the archives for whatever reason, and
doesn't exist.
You guys aren't entirely sure why.
Marleman's love is a lie.
You all then split up. Most of you guys returned back to the upper part of Break and went to sleep in Sai's house, while Marleman traveled over to Jerselheim to meet up with Petunia to discuss some of these things. Heavens. Dogs just went at it.
They're fighting over the chickens. They're fighting over a toy.
Gotcha. In that conversation, Petunia kind of laid out some stuff you guys have heard before. You know, she never knew her parents. She was raised in an orphanage inside of Jerselheim before kind of being adopted by an individual and kind of brought in matronly style and then trained in magic that way. Nothing really much came out of the conversation besides finding out that the locket she is wearing now has picture of Marleman in it, which is adorable. You have all rested for the evening. You wake up in your various places. We'll start with the disparate member right now. Marleman, you and Petunia wake up the next morning in Jerselheim. or what you feel is morning, it's still kind of weird for you to the cycle of days in the underground city.
Oh yeah, I don't think Raymond's gotten any sleep.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I don't think he's gotten sleep for some time, and also for multitudes of reasons.
No, you slept pretty well the night before, only because you had a point of exhaustion and were sleeping
That's
off
true.
literal
That's true.
death.
You're right. That one was
Yeah.
like nothing was stopping that one.
Yeah. But you guys wake up, set up shop for the day. She needs a little bit of help getting some stuff up, so just some quick stuff. What would you like to do from there?
Well, we had discussed going to talk to Hamish.
Mhm.
I would like to do that.
Okay. Once the shop is up and running, she kind of lets you know where
Yeah,
Hamish
once
is.
it's open, I'm gonna kind of. I'll probably check back in after the fact.
Okay. She
And then say goodbye.
nods you out, lets you know that Hamish is right now still working in the Emerald Bastion, still working for the council.
Okay.
You know, they've moved a lot of his experiments in-house, let's say, because of what happened last time.
Probably a good idea.
So,
Well, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
you head out in the city. Dresselheim is bustling right now in a very different way than you're familiar. Kind of the three other times you've been here. One, the city was kind of at war with itself and was very kind of depressed in that way. The second time, there were random incursions of purple worms, so everything was
Everything was all
not great.
Yeah.
But now it seems like the city is bracing for war in some way. You hear a lot of the smithies and forges firing up. You hear a lot of military action taking place. You don't see more guards on the street or anything like that. But just there's that like steely edge to the air that just people are on edge in general.
Tensions are high.
Exactly. You make your way down to the Emerald
familiar.
Bastion. You do recognize the gondola worker. It is the worker who's taken you down previously, but they don't seem to recognize you, so no need to worry about that. Your hair's a little bit longer since the last time you were here.
I was gonna say it's me, Marleman, from comic books.
They turn to look at you and say,
I'm the dunce.
Marleman, I'm well aware of who you are. We're under strict orders to, if any of you are in the city, to not cause a panic by identifying you guys as any of you in the city. So if you would just sort of play that one down. Your fan club has only grown since the last
I am
time
of
you were
two
here.
minds here. Morgan is of two minds here. One, I really want to go do this. I want to get this out of the way so we can get to the rest of the party. The other half is like, am I signing autographs today? No. So yeah, I'll keep a low profile. If I look differently too, it probably doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Okay. Then I guess I can continue forward.
Okay.
Where's Hamish?
He's still in the bastion, so you make your way all the way down the rings. You make it to the bastion. It is.
Yeah, I don't think I'm making any stops. I think this is very direct. I think a lot of the thoughts about the day before are still festering.
Okay.
Like, we've had a week, but it's been a day. It's been less than 24 hours. So
It has been approximately
like 7, maybe 8 hours.
well, there's that part of it, but it's been approximately 72 hours since the incursion.
Yeah.
So it's been 3 days of insanity for you guys. You make your way pretty directly down there. The bastion is relatively quiet for how bustling the rest of the city is. But once you kind of clear the emerald doors and are inside the building itself, you notice why. There is a very large tribunal or court trial happening. The central court chamber that you're all familiar with. You can see through the open doors that most of the council is there. You spot basically everybody but Sylvia. Sylvia's still over in break where you left her previously. It looks like the two head adjudicators are being operated by Gotenks and the Lord Ironstag. They're kind of operating to the flanks of the main chair, probably operating as head judge in missing the High Arbiter.
Yeah.
and are hearing arguments you can hear about grain thievery specifically.
Okay.
It
I'm
seems
not
like-
interrupting. I don't want to
Okay.
get in the way.
Yeah.
I think probably as I enter the chamber, I give Gotenks like a
Yeah, you're
a look.
outside the chamber, like you could just kind of see through the door.
Oh,
what's
okay.
going on. The doors aren't closed.
Great, perfect. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I didn't want to be the guy that slowly opened up the creaky door and walked into this trial and just.
Yeah, you could also tell like there's not a large crowd going on.
Okay. Okay.
You know, it seems very kind of by the book. You make your way past that. You head down to where you know Hamish's lab is. You've been there before. You make your way through, and as you get closer, you do start to hear every so often. It's like a very muffled, like something is just like very muffled explosions coming from somewhere.
Okay.
You make it. Oh, ink. You make your
I
way
love
there. Doors closed.
Okay. I don't want to startle this man, but I think I'm gonna knock on the door.
Okay. You bump, bump, bump. Silence.
I attempt to open the door.
Door's unlocked. You the door and look in, and you can see Hamish head down, goggled and earmuffed, staring at. It looks like a very tall petri dish.
Okay.
Made of
So he is.
made of lead.
Oh, okay. So he has no clue I'm in the room.
No idea. Just like down.
He's looking straight down.
Yep.
Can I, again, I don't want to startle him. I'm trying to do this so something doesn't explode in his face. I don't want the cartoon...
Just like
His duck bill is now behind him.
yeah.
So I think probably what I'll do is I will cast prestidigitation
Okay.
in and kind of like kind of in front of the petri dish, like not directly in front of the petri dish, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
in his view,
Yeah.
that it's like a wispy handwriting calligraphy that just says "You have a visitor. Look behind you."
Okay. You do that, and there's like a beat pause, and you could tell it's like scrolling in before the head kind of looks up and turns around to you and just goes, 1 second, hang on, and kind of looks back down,
Give
and
him
you
a
can hear
thumbs up.
him. You can hear him muttering just very, very quietly to himself before you hear another one of those very muffled of small explosion, but it's not. It's very clearly not coming from there. It's somewhere else. Once that happens, he sort of pulls off the head, the earmuffs, turns around to you and goes, "I've done it, Marleman. I've finally done it. Delayed
what is-
explosions, remote controlled from here.
Oh, that's you made. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, it's wonderful. We could use it for
Oh,
mining.
don't get me wrong. It's super wonderful. Wonderful is definitely the word I would use.
Yes, all it took was one arcane crystal embedded within with a delayed fireball spell that once it goes off after a certain amount of time, it will detonate the arcane crystal, causing the entire explosion
I
to
think I
triple in
I
size.
interrupt him midway
Uh-huh.
through this conversation, and I grab him by the shoulders and I say, "You need to be careful.
What can I do
This
for
isn't
you,
a
Mr.
threat. This isn't a threat. This is just a warning, because I know you."
I am under very strict supervision these days, Marleman, but I appreciate the concern. What can I do for you today? And make it fast.
Petunia.
Yes, what about her? Would you
What
like
do you
her
know
hand?
about
I don't... Technically, I'm not her father, but I guess that would
No,
be the proper...
No, not quite. Yes, you are the father figure, but no, that is not what I'm coming here for.
Wonderful. What can I do for you about our dear elven maid?
What do you know about her parents?
He kind of stops and takes off the
The
goggles.
first time I've ever heard him be quiet.
Yeah. Kind of takes off the goggles and looks at you. And you can see that he has definitely been wearing these goggles for a long time. As
Got
his...
like the
just deep. Like, he might as well
big
still be wearing
black marks around it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's still wearing his glasses underneath his goggles.
Yeah, as every scientist does.
Exactly. Not for whatever reason didn't build that capability into the goggles. Just was like, nah, this is fine. Kind of pulls them off and looks at you and goes, "Why have they returned? They promised they would never return."
I don't know. Tell me about them.
Well, they're bad people, Marleman. They were always bad people. I never could get a straight answer out of them for what purposes they had done what they did, but
Do you
not
know
great.
their names?
Yes, I do. I probably should have opened this document before. Gary's Big Book of NPCs. It's Joshua and Janine.
Okay. Can you just what made them bad? I don't understand.
Well, for starters, they just up and left their kid with us.
Well, other than the obvious, come on,
Yes, apologies. They worshipped something, and they were never entirely clear about what. And it led them to making choices and doing things that never sat well with anyone here in the city. Even after they kind of entrenched themselves, they arrived claiming to be ambassadors from a foreign elven civilization. They never gave us the name, just not from here.
Foreign elven, you said?
Yes, foreign elven. We ran through some contacts that we had in Lathander, and they had never heard of the family or these two individuals, but they shared gifts with us. They shared. Well, he kind of gestures all around and says they gave us the Bastion. They taught us how to make something like this and make it functional. They were brilliant scientists, Marleman. I can't take that away from them.
All right, real talk. Real talk. We, and by we I mean the problem solvers. We
You hear like a very far away trumpet sound of like
Woo!
yeah, just like a
And it was me. I have also
Yes.
learned the delayed cast spells. We went to break and we met the now brace yourself. We went to the archive.
the Lost Archive of Break that's been lost.
Lost, right? We went to that place and there was an automaton of sorts.
You see him like immediately perk up.
I know you would like this.
You suddenly remember the fact that your first interaction with him was back when he was still doing his clockwork automaton research.
Morgan vaguely remembered that. Yeah. I knew he would enjoy this. That's why I kept that for last. I wanted to see what he could tell me without being nerding out. So we met the keeper. That's his name, right? It's not the archivist. I keep wanting to say it's the archivist, but it's not the thing.
The keeper.
And we got a lot of information, and he is currently writing down my conversation with you as we speak, as I speak. He just wrote that word, and then that word.
He's like you've
He's
like
writing down right now that you are befuddled and looking around the room trying to find him.
very well.
Or it.
I okay. I don't want to know how he can hear me, but very well.
He also just wrote that down.
I'd focus, Marleman. You were trying to tell me something.
I get it.
I just want to freak him out at this point.
He's terrified. Like, he is in full paranoia mode.
He was able to give us information on new continents and different places on this world that we live in. And it was credible. And everything he said was truthful. However, he has no record of Petunia.
Well,
And rather, let me rephrase that. He has he can't tell me about Petunia. Specifically, Marleman knows that it was the Raven Queen that put the locks on, right?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that Marleman knows that that was the case.
Yeah, you have a pretty good idea that's the case, yeah.
Okay, because I thought that he had said that the Keeper had told us that was the case.
When you phrase the question
in such a way,
yes, of, you know, who instituted the safety protocols, you know, he had mentioned.
So I tell him,
I mentioned.
I tell him that specifically, not about the Raven Queen, but that the Keeper as an automaton has a block, a firewall of sorts, that says can't talk about Petunia. Now I'm aware of who put those in place, but I want to know what you think first.
Marlon, the information you're asking about is dangerous.
And he just starts spouting the words error, error, error.
You'll have to follow up to see what this conversation looks like.
What do you mean?
The information you're asking for is dangerous.
Do you know who I am?
Those of us here in the know promise to never speak of this again. And
sounds like somebody's about to break an oath, Hamish.
I don't think you understand, Marleman. We swore to never speak of this again. I cannot speak of this again. However,
go ahead, yeah.
And he sort of walks over to one of his like lab notes and kind of rips a corner off and tries to write something. And it just sort of like, you literally watch his hand like almost spasm out.
As he attempts to do it, yeah.
Yeah. And he sort of, fuck shit. All right, hang on, let me try this way. And he tries it very clearly in a different language, and that
fails.
Also doesn't work. And then
this is something that I absolutely could. He seems like he is. This is beyond Zone of Truth.
Yeah, this is like there's an
enchantment upon himself.
Yeah, there's a magic.
Yeah.
He kind of looks at you and says, "This is going to be very crude, and I apologize. If you were to die, Marleman Oceanwrath,
yep,
what would your friends try and do to you?
Bring me back.
There's a more specific word.
Resurrect. Revive.
Word 1. Second part.
Yep.
Our lords here in Jerselheim, we worship them although we cannot see them, for they are with us but beyond. But there is a trio of lordly figures who interact less. You do know this. You were distinctly talking about these three last time.
Oh shit! See, that's why I'm having a hard time remembering that was a week ago.
They're the three gods who are.
Oh right! Right! It's
This is a thing that has come up a couple of times. So just to really set the stage on this, there are dozens and dozens of gods and deities and minor gods, but there are three that are stronger than the others, who are truly divine. They are divine to the divine, and their power is such that they are locked behind essentially a gate, or something called the Divine Gate, more specifically. So that way their impacts upon the world can be lessened. Ioun is one of them, the goddess of truth. The Raven Queen is another one, the goddess of death. And the other is Pelor, goddess of life, so to speak. Those three are locked away.
Okay.
So you do know that information.
Okay, yeah, you just had to remind Morgan. It's something I literally actually didn't have in my notes. So
yeah, no, it's fine. It comes up.
I have Ioun written here, but it doesn't say anything about Ioun.
And then there are the gods. There are gods like Cord, who are her deific and powerful, but they're lesser so. They sit in other realms.
They sit on a different tier.
Yes. and therefore can do things like grant boons and grant power, but like you don't find a lot of, let's say, paladins or clerics of these three individuals because their powers are both astronomical and lessened.
Gotcha.
Regardless, he goes, and then third, one of these three did. All right, wrong phrasing. Two were created holy.
Okay. And the other not.
And I believe that is all I can say safely without this wonderful enchantment getting in the way. I promise, Marleman. You can put this together. I promise you that.
I just utter the words Raven Queen.
He, like, attempts to nod, but you physically see his spine, like...
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say words. You don't have to say yes or no, because obviously you can't. But I think you could tell me no. I think that would be acceptable if I was wrong in any of my thoughts. Okay. Joshua and Janine worshipped the Raven Queen.
It's blank, stone-faced.
Great, good answer. You swore not to talk about this. Who did you swear to?
Myself and the former Council of Break, those are of Jerselheim. Those of us who were in the know and interacted with these two individuals. Of thinking now, the ones who are left who are bound by the oath are myself, Lord Ironstag, and I believe that might actually be it. The rest have passed on.
I think honestly, like, Marleman at this point is doing what Morgan is doing, which is like pacing the room, and is kind of trying to think of ways around this.
You see Hamish suddenly have a flash of inspiration, and say, "Marleman, over there are files, not files.
Journals?
No. God damn it, I can't remember the fucking word.
Documents?
Stamps! Metal stamps. With specific letters. I need you to write down...
Uh-oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 letters, and I can finish it from there. This relates to thing 1 we were talking about before. If it's stamped in metal, I can't fuck it up.
Ah. I arranged the letters Raven Queen?
Nope. Close. No.
No? Okay.
If you were to die, your friends would want to...
Oh, I put together the words resurrect.
You specifically, just to accelerate this, you write down resurrection.
Okay.
And he grabs three other stamps and throws them at you, rather than walk near it, which is IST.
Resurrectionist? Is that what
He, like, locks up almost into, like, a trance-like coma state. Just like, nope, can't. That may have been too far for him to hear it, but he tried.
Okay.
It's a great game of charades you're playing now.
Yeah, and Marleman and Morgan have both never been good at charades. Boy, he's really wishing he brought somebody with him.
Marleman, I promise you, I've given you all the information I can. You should take that back to your fellows.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you.
You should take that back to your fellows and run it past them and see if
I'm
going to
do exactly that.
Okay.
But
I promise you this.
Yep.
Petunia is as alive and real as you and I.
Oh, I'm aware of that. I just think it's really funny to yell out the words my life is a lie. And then I kind of like he seems like I'm like
he's
feeling a lot of
he's drenched in sweat now. Like he just looks like something is just taking a toll on him every time we do this.
Cool. I like definitely he also seems to me like since he's been experimenting, he's probably covered in like dust and ash
just like soot and yeah.
So what I do is I absolutely like go over to him and I like pat him on the shoulders and I kind of like brush off some of the nonsense on him and I hands on the shoulders and I give him like I give him a genuine thank you and I say like, hey Mitch, thank you for helping me even though it probably caused you some pain.
Oh, just a touch.
And I'm sorry if I scared you about the archivist, or the keeper, but I really do appreciate everything.
Do what you can with this information, Marleman.
But
I promise you this. If you go down this hole too deep, there is no coming back.
Yeah, I've been in holes deep that deep enough, or that deep. I think I'll be fine.
I have given you my advice. Good luck. Now then, and he sort of turns back around to the lead thing.
Oh, and then actually, I do ask him. I say, so you got any like samples of this remote detonation stuff?
He kind of turns and looks at you and goes, I mean, if you promise not to kill yourself with them, and he sort of grabs like a small sack and hands it to you. Inside are 4 blue arcane crystals that you're familiar with.
Yep.
That are charged with energy in a different way than you've seen before. These very clearly have like some sort of magical connection of some kind. Long story short, what you can do with these is you can cast a spell into a crystal of some kind, and then set that crystal somewhere. And if you magically tap one of these arcane crystals to that crystal, so like a diamond or a sapphire or what have you, if you magically link those and then break these crystals, that spell will be released via the breakage. You don't know the distance. You don't know anything
I'll figure
like that.
it out. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
My life is a roller coaster. I will do what I will with this.
He basically gave you the
me,
detonators and wires. It's up to you to find the explosives.
That's fine. He hands me that pile, and this is after he says, as long as I try not to kill myself or try to hurt myself or whatever. I take the bag, I put the bag in my pocket, and then I say, can't guarantee that. And then I walk out of the room. And I wave behind me. Good to see you again.
He's like not even looking at you at this point. Like, oh, it's back on. Earphones back on, just like down.
I think I go. I'm gonna try to make this short. I think I go back to Petunia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want. I have a mission. My mission is now, this is gonna be deceptive and duplicative, but I am not gonna tell her about any of this.
Okay.
I don't think it's a good idea. I think she knows she's smart enough to also get herself in the rabbit hole, and I don't want to have her go in that rabbit hole.
Fair enough.
So I go there and I say, Hamish was of some help, but I have to leave again.
Make a deception check.
I don't. Oh, that's a 17 plus 5.
She rolled a 14, so.
Okay.
She goes, okay. Well, I come back when you can. I'll be here. Unless things change dramatically, I'll be here. Come home. Love you.
Love you too. And I give her this big old hug, and I think I say that again, and that's it. Yeah. And then I leave, and then I go to teleportation circle with them, and I meet up with them.
Okay.
Or I go to that plane
Yeah.
or wherever they are, and I
Yeah, they're just in break. So you know how to get back.
I know how to get around there by now.
Yeah. While all of this is happening, what would you guys like to be doing in break? You all wake up in Sai's home. It is a cold day in break. It is snowing. It is snowing relatively heavily too. It's not even like a nice. It's not even like a nice, pretty sort of snow. It's much more of the like, oh, this is gonna fuck up my day kind of snow. The city's quiet. People are still kind of sheltered in, waiting for news. What would you like to do?
Enjoy the snow. Let's have a snowball fight.
No, I'm down for that.
Take your
How
time.
far is the forces from Hasper from break?
They're probably about a day out now.
Okay.
They're at a quick march, so they're probably about a day out.
Is Chicken Friend around?
He is with the. Yeah.
Oh, right.
He's with the Force, yeah.
Well, then I got nothing.
Okay.
So
I think we were waiting to hear. back
I mean,
from
if you guys just want to
right?
like bunker in, have a snowball fight, drink some cocoa.
I want to organize like what we know
Okay.
about
Yeah.
the prophecy. at
Because
this
like we have
point.
an obvious first choice.
So there
Mhm.
are prophecies, right? We have 3 of them.
You know the locations of 3 of them for the most part.
No, I
Oh,
mean,
right,
we
one
Oh
of
yes,
them's
you,
in
you
the
have
city,
3. You have
right?
Yeah,
Tiandra, Bonnie, and Petunia herself.
Okay, so we have Tandra, Bonnie.
And we know where 3 more
Here we
are.
go.
Mhm.
So the 3 that we know where they are,
Krem,
what were those?
who has
3?
been identified being here in break.
Oh,
He was 48 seconds
Oh, yeah,
ago at the
Krem
time
in
of my
break.
notes.
Yes,
Break. He's in break,
Mm.
and he was at the former Church of Ayun.
correct. You had Wantho, an orc, who was last spotted in the Searing Wastes.
Wait, I thought that was Junto.
Sorry, Junto Wantho.
All those
It's JUN''TO.
Yeah,
okay, so
Yep.
Junto.
got that.
and
Yes,
in
he's somewhere in the
Seen
wastes.
in the Searing Waste, quote unquote, 4 hours ago.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
I've also got on my list. These are names that I just have on my list, which is Jerza Content. He
Yep,
was on the
Jerzo.
Rage 35 years ago.
Correct, and it's
on
not
the
been seen
continent of
since.
Burn.
Yes, in Burn.
So wait, Durzo,
Jerzo, yes. JERZO.
Oh, I have S.
and he's where?
Fix that.
He was last seen piloting an airship, the Rage, 35 years ago,
Okay.
and has not
the
been seen.
continent of
Has
Burn.
not been seen on this plane since.
We gotta head to like some airship hangs or something. Now that we're part of the crew.
Wasn't there one that was in the Glass City?
Well,
yeah.
the Lost City of Glass. There is one as well. The name that individual's name is Darwin. Last seen in the former, the Lost City of Glass. That Trev does have a like magical GPS button on right now. So
And then
Fantastic.
wasn't the other one on like that other continent?
no, there is one by the name of Demetrius.
Demetrius, and he's a human courier.
He's a human courier who is bouncing somewhere in between the prime material plane and the a place that the keeper did not know. You can only
Some
see
other
that he
plane.
was every so often popping back onto this plane and then popping away.
I see. Okay.
Alright,
Okay.
is that all of
I
them?
guess we can try to find the guy in break while we're here, while we're
Well,
waiting
yeah.
for Parliament.
But I just want to make sure that that was all of them. So we already have Tayandra, Bonnie, and Petunia, but Krem is in break. He theoretically might still be at that church, but it's the next day. But he's here in break probably still. Junto and Jerzo and Darwin and Demetrius.
Yep.
But there's one more. No,
Nope, that's all of them. That is all 8.
that is all of them. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Congratulations, you asked the right questions and have discovered at least the identities of all 8 of them.
Yes, I will take any step up on that we can.
Thanks, D&D Wikipedia.
Um,
So we know that. We also know that Sai is probably the rightful Jarl here.
yeah, how you doing with that one, Si?
Need to know some more information. Need to know how he relates to the city, but
So,
very intrigued and very conflicted.
how did you get to break again, Sai? I remember you telling us about, like, your history of being a slave and making the pact to, like, free yourself, but I don't remember how break fits into that specifically.
Yes, 8 human nobles and property. Not incredibly far from here. And then and kind of found myself.
You're breaking up a little bit, Jay. It might be better just to type some of this out.
And
I think we may have lost him fully there.
I'm not sure. Either that or he's typing. But while he does that, so I don't know, like what we should really do about that. Like Sai, do you want to be Jarl?
He's only the Jarl if the current Jarl. Oh wait, no, because he's not the current one who's still alive. Isn't the real
He's not.
bloodline? Okay.
He was still alive, the current Jarl.
Right.
He's in the south, though, isn't he?
He is being like super tortured, which is unfortunate. We should do something about that eventually.
We'll get around.
that guy's getting like hyper tortured. We should probably, that's something maybe.
Unfortunately, we have a very long list of very pressing matters.
That is true.
Getting tortured is unfortunately not number one.
Yeah,
That
like
is true.
super torture to not be number one is like really, it says a lot about where we're at.
Yeah.
Well, I would say since we're still waiting for Marleman and we're still kind of figuring out a bunch of things, I think the first thing we can probably do is go talk to Krem. And
Yeah, try and find him.
yeah.
Yeah, we can try and do that.
It's been a while. How do we approach them with the whole, oh yeah, you're a chosen one thing?
You gotta
'Cause the
find
last
out
couple
what
we were friends
emotion
with
he is
first.
and see if he glows.
Eh.
Let's just like poke at him. What do we have left?
Yeah, the emotions we found.
I cannot look at the poem right now just because
I can just tell you if you want.
Thank you.
You found confidence, vulnerability, and connection, or belonging.
Right.
The ones that are left are humbleness, contentment, anger, honesty, and acceptance.
All right, hold on.
I'm just going to hazard a guess that the guy who has the airship called the Rage might be the angry guy.
I mean, let's not jump to any conclusions.
Just going to guess. It might not be correct, but I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
I will. It's been a while since we've done some prophecy stuff, so I'll also remind you guys these are attempting to inspire feelings inside them that is not traditionally there.
Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, so confidence, vulnerability, and acceptance we covered with those three. So the ones we were missing were anger.
Yes. So anger, humility, contentment, honesty, and peace. If you want a different term than acceptance, but
He's squeaky. Don't mind him.
Okay.
I think
I
we should
found
bring
a
our
cat,
friend,
guys.
I think we should bring our friend Krem along when we decide.
Do we even
What?
know Krem? What do you mean our friend Krem? Huh?
Of course he's our friend. We're gonna take his ass and we're gonna fucking put him in the, fairy.
That does
science.
not.
Hey, you want to
Okay.
go
But
to
here's
a
what I'm
magical
saying.
fairy realm?
Our friend Krem needs to come with us when we decide what Sai is gonna do about being Jarl.
You are
Because it's
making
gonna-
some
Bro.
huge
Oh
leaps.
boy.
We're talking about kidnapping a dude. I don't know if we should go that far.
No, we just gotta tell him that we're gonna kidnap him eventually. So he.
I think we should set up a rule that Armel is not allowed to talk to him.
I just want to say I'm all 100% for this idea.
Yeah. See?
I'm not. I'm absolutely not. But good ideas. Good ideas. Good thoughts. All great thoughts.
all right, Jay.
I
Does
would
sound
not
like
bring
you're,
Krem with us.
it sounds like you're a little more stable. So do you want to
Yeah.
do your spiel now?
Sure, man. All right. So I'll start from the beginning. The place that I ran away from and burned to the fucking ground was actually not far from Break. It was Noble's estate, not too far from it. Ran to the city, found a place to hide. Met up with Chicken Man.
Mhm.
That was an experience, and yeah, he actually helped set me up with like an apprenticeship, and then taught me a lot of things, and then I was able to pick the rest up from traveling to Ferry and then various places from there.
So then you don't have any family?
I didn't think so. And then so the noble's bloodline, as far as I know, ended with him. Well, I guess technically me, but like he didn't have any natural born children. And then I know, I mean, I assume my mother had family. I didn't know where from or who. And then we found those people that kind of looked like me in that city, and that kind of raised some red flags. Yeah. So as far as I know, no. But, and I have had people looking. Like I've had a hag and another hunter contact, kind of like Chicken, looking into it, but I haven't heard anything back from them.
Yeah, been a while since you reached out to them.
Well, I sent the letter to one. But
Yeah, you sent the letter to your hunter, to the hunter, who
nothing.
they have gone almost completely radio silent on that. Well, actually, completely radio silent because you haven't heard shit since.
Right.
And
And
you
I
haven't
haven't-
checked in. You haven't checked in with the hag.
No, I'll. That's definitely on my list of shit to do before I sit on a phone that can kill me. But yeah. So as far
when
as
you
I
put
know,
it that way,
no.
It might be worth it to like check on that and see if like there's family you can reach out to that might have more information that's helpful before we. And again, like I do also think part of the question is like, since we are going to try and save the Jarl that was the Jarl, hopefully he will be okay. Like, do you want to pursue this? Like,
I don't know yet. I think I do
okay.
because
That's completely fair. Honestly, you don't even need a reason. Like it's your
Right.
family history, and you deserve to know the truth.
well, it's not even the family thing so much. Like that's I mean I've come this far without family. That's not the important part to me. But this city and its people have suffered a lot. And it's as shitty as some of them can be, it's not fair to the innocents. And if I can do something to set it right and protect them, then I have to.
Okay. Fair enough.
That just, it would probably mean quitting my current job, but
Oh.
I mean, I assume that being, a Jarl, I can't really have dual
citizenship.
Well, I can't be beholden to both the citizens of the city and also what amounts to an armor and a hitman for a fairy. So,
not with that attitude.
like, I feel like there's going to be some conflicts of interest there.
Yeah, I mean, you can quit that job. Actually, I don't know if you can quit that job, but we can work on that.
I'm pretty sure I 100% can. This is an entirely at will gig.
Okay, good.
You're a contractor.
Yeah. I don't know how much my power I'll lose when I do it, but it is what it is.
Worth it.
Well,
I mean, if that's a decision I have to make, then that's a decision I'll have to make.
there's a bridge we can cross later, but I'm sure he would love to. Or if he's ever looking for another hitman, I know a guy. I know he doesn't like him, but I do know a guy.
Yeah, I'll put in a word for you.
It's probably around this time, just due to Craig. Did you watch the gift? I'm glad.
I fell over.
Just due to some time zone changes and things like that, it's probably around now that Marleman is getting back to the city itself. Marleman, you come out of the teleportation. I'm not even sure if you're there, but if you are, you come out of the teleportation circle. The city is covered in snow. This is the most snow you have seen, not in the mountains, in your life. It is coming down.
Is this normal?
You would have no idea. You are still able to pick your way through the city and find your way back to Sai's place. As you come in, they're having a rousing discussion around a bright and roaring fire. Aramil is covered in snow.
Hold on.
Oh, gotcha. Aramil is covered in snow. Very clearly has been outside. But everything is warm and pleasant and friendly and not exploding.
Good. I love to see it.
Not exploding. Good status.
Okay, there we go. Now this headset is on. Okay.
With us, you can't take that for granted.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I'm just looking for them.
Yeah, they're home. They're there.
Okay. For sake of time, I explained to them what he told me.
Okay.
And I want to know what this might be about, everyone.
Was he trying to imply that your girlfriend is a piece of the god of death?
I think so. I've been mulling it over since the conversation happened, and I'm like, I think, yes,
Is that possible?
yes.
Magic.
I think it's possible that Petunia is said resurrectionist,
Wait,
or somebody is going to use her as a piece to resurrect.
What I will say to you guys about this right now is that if there's crazy magic oath keeping people from talking about this stuff, from experience, be careful talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, is there just for
part of
just
our
for-
crew, though?
We're the only people other than the people who vowed to not talk about it know about it, seemingly.
It's just I'm not saying I know anything about it. I'm just saying that could be a dangerous route. So be careful.
yeah.
That's reasonable, but I don't think it changes that.
What would you have me do?
I mean, right now, if you guys want to talk about what you think you can figure out about this, you're welcome to. But I don't think we know enough to actually make any actionable decisions.
No, we don't know enough to make any claims, but we know enough to make ideas. And I think I don't. To what end? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, big question now is how that would work, in that she doesn't, I don't think her parents are around anymore, right?
No.
no, they left, and I don't know where they went. It
Like,
seems like they
left
kind
or
of.
dead?
And
uh,
assuming that Marleman relayed the conversation as it was, he said
Yeah.
they swore to never come back, which
Yeah.
implies that they are alive.
Okay.
At least as much as any of us know.
Okay. So theoretically, they are
always-
alive. All right.
Is there anything that we have to, like, is there any issue if we don't look into this right now, considering our other long laundry list of stuff to do?
As a to like DM my way into this just a touch, like this is a very low level sort of thing.
Okay.
One of the things that I may have not picked up or given you well through that conversation is that there didn't seem to be any concern of danger in Hamish's eyes or demeanor. There was no like threat of safety when it comes to Petunia. The only thing that was dangerous was going down this line of thinking.
Okay.
And finding the truth of what this is. But it's very low level.
Something
This
that
is
we
not,
can't really do much about it, and there's
and
nothing actionable needed right now. So.
exactly.
Okay, then let's continue on our path here.
Trev
so,
is
Sai,
not
I hear
trying.
you're
Yeah, I
gonna
was
be
gonna say,
you're gonna be a Jarl.
yeah, Trev was not trying to be callous. He just wanted to make sure that, like, you left that thing, assuming you relayed everything, with being told
I
that
did.
everything is okay and she is not in danger or a danger to you.
Yeah,
And
but
as long
I'm
as you
still
trust
gonna
that,
be neurotic
that is
about it
important.
and be concerned about it. So
Of course. And that's something perhaps for another day. But for now,
okay, sounds good. I am here. I just need to check the stuff.
Sorry, I have double purrs.
no.
I sent you guys a picture because they're being so cute.
They are adorable. So, you guys have a couple of different options on the table. You can go and find Krem and figure out what to do about that situation. Sai, you expressed interest in going back to the Feywild and touching base with the hag and seeing what's what and if she's come up with anything. And there are other stuff too, but you haven't really discussed it yet.
My vote is we go get Krem, we go back to the Feywild.
Well, I mean,
Just
we don't
don't
have to
say
bring
anything
him to the
about him.
Feywilds.
Right, we
Like-
drop him over the head, we put him in the bag of holding, and we go to the
No.
Feywild.
That
Good
will kill him.
heavens.
I mean, again, like, I don't, like, I'm not going to be the one to tell anybody what to do, but I think it would be to our detriment to ignore what is going on to the south of Break.
True.
Absolutely.
I think that
Is a priority.
extremely important.
I agree
Yeah.
that's a priority. I do think, even if we don't like,
Yeah, hooking up with Krem is also
Yeah.
wise.
I
Yeah,
think
while
we
we're
should
here.
hook up with Krem
Yeah,
just
we
so
gotta
that
at
we
least-
have, because he's so close to us right now. Like, I feel like we need to get like a good
Yeah.
beat on him before we leave.
Yeah, establishing contact
Yeah.
will be good just because it's a nice thing to do, and also probably from some magical ways will make it easier if we ever need to track him down later.
Yes.
Plus,
I
I
think
mean,
find him first, and then I think you're right. We need to address what's going
Yeah.
on in the
Yeah.
south, but I think it's important that we touch
Yes.
with Krem first.
Yeah.
plus
Indeed.
being of I'm probably a cleric. I think they said it was a priest. Like
Mhm.
he might have more information just in general on
Yeah.
a lot of the things that we're talking about, because a lot of it seems to deal with deities and powers and things like that.
Yeah.
That
Perhaps he's
Is
lived some
way out
kind
of
of
all of our
experience that
Maybe,
we
maybe that's how we can get
Exactly.
our intro. First, we can ask, "Do you want to have a snowball fight?" And then we can say we have questions about deities and stuff.
get him with the rope. I mean, if he's a cleric-y guy, then asking him about deities is probably the thing he's used to answering.
I will
Snowball fights less so, but they're fun.
I will reiterate. I would say that he is a priest, not a cleric.
Whatever.
Priest,
Because
that's fine.
he has no magic power. He would have been taken up, and
That is true.
So he's more like an acolyte.
yeah, essentially a bishop.
He's a
even.
dude in a robe. Oh,
He's definitely a dude in a robe, but You'll find that in a second after I do this beautiful transition. So you guys make your way out of Sai's place and into the snowstorm. It is building up. It is getting worse out. It's not particularly cold. It's like one of those like warmer kind of snowstorms where it's probably sitting at like 31, like right at the point of freezing, but it is coming down.
Being that I spent a lot of time in break, is this natural?
Break gets 1, maybe 2 major snowstorms in a year. It's still early in the season for a snowstorm like this, but it's not hair raising.
Okay.
It's actually weirder that it is this like relatively warmer. Break usually gets like pretty fucking cold, but you all pick your way through the city. Every so often, Aramil picks up Snowball and throws it at the back of one party member's head or the other. See if you can incite some violence. How you guys choose to react to that is up to you.
Is absolutely throwing
Absolutely
snowballs.
throw 'em back.
This has become all out war. You're
Fucking
talking
on.
to a dude who can shape water. This is a bad move, everyone.
Am I proficient with snowballs?
Yes, definitely.
All right, cool. So that means I think I can use them with green flame blade.
Fuck yeah, cool. Fuck yeah, cool.
What
Green
begins
flaming snowballs.
You're in trouble now.
what begins as a regular, joyful, fun time in the snow quickly devolves into an all-out snowball warfare.
It's like, whatever, he's in charge. I could burn this place down.
Nyx is stealthing in and out of piles and like ramming icicles into the backs of people and then flipping away.
I turn into a giant spider and throw 8 snowballs at Trev.
Oh no! Turns into a scorpion and I run away.
Yeah. Phaedra is just standing in the middle of this with a spiritual weapon that just looks like a snowball that is just like spinning around her, just waiting.
I will specify I'm also not wearing my metal armor in the fucking cold.
Okay, fair enough.
What
I'll
are
put
you
it on
wearing
when we
instead?
leave, but it is fucking cold.
Me, on the other hand, I have used shape water to give myself ice armor, and I am currently in the process of rolling the most largest snowball ever known to man, and then lifting it and throwing it into a set of people.
Make a strength check.
Absolutely. I don't even know if I would have to. It's shape water. I think I can kind of do what I want with it.
There's still at least a little bit of lift to that.
That's a 19.
Oh, Jesus.
Snap.
Plus 1, that's a 20.
So what you catch Trev, Aramil, and Sai in what looks like the craziest Mexican standoff as 2 individuals are holding 2 hands full of snowball. Yeah, holding 2 hands of snowballs at a spider that has 6 of them in the air, ready to throw. And before any of them can even blink, a cacophony of snow just comes pouring down across them. Yes, with a beautiful. There's a brief silence before a spider starts to like climb its way out, and Trev and Sai sort of start digging their ways out.
I'm like, yeah, that's very clearly the it's quiet for a moment. And then the all-out war begins as they pummel Marleman.
Yeah, I was going to say, they all turn to you. Nyx is like somewhere in an alley just watching this, just like, if I got stuck under there, I would still be digging my way out, so I'm going to stay over here.
It's like one of those movie scenes where the guy keeps getting shot and is just like twitching and like...
An hour later.
That seems right.
This finally calms down. You're all now. Yeah. Phaedra does her cleric goodness and brings some hot cocoa, and you all kind of make your way through the snow. You're all drenched, but you're in a much lighter mood than you were previously, especially with everything that happened.
I'm prestidigitating heat on everyone to warm everyone up. Everyone is not uncomfortable.
I do like how we're like, oh, well, we can't do this thing because of all these a million other important things. But first, snowball fight.
You have to have priorities, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of deserve it, honestly.
Wait.
Yeah.
Must snowball.
We have some super torture of our own to do.
Yeah. You all make your way into the former religious area of Break that has been very quiet. You've been here before. This is also where the tavern where you had located the trapped chicken is located, is in this area of the city. So you make your way there. Sai, you leading the party to where you know that this temple is located. And as you approach, this is the one temple in the city that still seems to have some kind of light on. The door is slightly ajar. It's very clearly a building where, like, traditionally the doors are wide open at all times, but there is a snowstorm. So they're mostly closed, but a little bit ajar. And you can hear, some footsteps in there, some mild muttering as someone inside the temple is taking care of stuff. Apologies for all of that. It is a large black brick building. The symbol of Ioun is kind of burned into the brick just above the doorway in what looks like white marble. It is a fairly simple temple compared to some of the more extravagant temples to things like Bahamut or anything like that. This is much more... I think I'm going to die. This is a very simple kind of utilitarian temple. What would you like to do?
I forget what is
Yeah.
do we generally know what he looks like?
Not at all. You know nothing of what he looks like or who he is or
He
anything.
didn't specify like race or anything.
He's human.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick up a snowball in the back just in case.
Oh.
Okay. You prep a real condensed snowball, like a real packed in thing.
I'm gonna hold it behind my back, so like to hide it from everyone too.
Okay. There are doors. You push up the door. As you do, there's an individual standing at the other side in front of the altar. All the torches in the building are lit and glowing slightly. The individual is dressed in long black robes with silver trim. They have a small goatee that is very well maintained over a completely bald head. They have very piercing blue eyes and is probably mid-30s, early 40s, give or take. Is the kind of, as the individual kind of turns and looks at you, goes, "Welcome, friends, to the Temple of Ioun. May I, you look wet. May I offer you solace here in the storm?"
Thank you. That would be nice.
I have a better offer for you.
That would be nice.
Wonderful, please. Come in, draw the door. And he kind of turns away and bustles into a side room. And you can hear sounds like tea getting prepared. You can hear some chinking of glasses and stuff being placed on a tray.
While he's in the other room, I kind of just want to huddle everybody up and be like, are we going to try to be subtle about this, or are we just going to lay it all on him? What's the plan here?
I was planning to start subtle because that's just how Nick is, but
Okay. All right, that's fine.
feel out the situation, and then depending on how that goes, be as honest with them as we can. But I think we need to get a little intel gathered before.
That seems reasonable.
Okay.
On him.
So we'll ask a couple questions, and then we'll lead into the other.
Sure it's him. We haven't asked his name yet.
Well, yeah, I plan to introduce myself and see how he responds.
Okay. He returns after a couple of minutes with a very nice tray of what looks like some perhaps beginning to get stale baked goods, but some really lovely smelling tea. As he kind of sets it on the altar and begins to hand it out to you. The room is not particularly big. It's maybe 20, 25 feet deep. As he kind of looks over at all of you, he goes, "Well, it's absolutely my pleasure to help serve the heroes a break on this blustery afternoon. Please, friends, what can I assist with you at this time?"
I take it you know who we are then.
Oh, certainly. I'm very familiar with your exploits. The lady always searches for knowledge of all kinds, so I've been following as closely as I can.
So I offer him my hand and say, "I'm Sai. It's a pleasure to meet you."
Acolyte Michael Krem. Nice to meet you as well.
Crumb. Very nice.
How long have you been here, Cram?
Oh, just about my entire life. I was trained at the monastery slightly south from here, but was placed into break not too many years ago, maybe 10, 15 years, and I've been here since.
Nice. That's good.
Okay. So you've kind of been through some of the social upheavals that Break has gone through over the last couple decades.
Most certainly, yes. My fellows and I, we've done as we can to mark and track the changing ways here in Break. But as I'm sure you all are aware, things change very quickly here in the city, and it has kept us all on our toes.
So, may I call you Krem?
Most certainly. Most do.
Okay. So one of the things that I've been most curious about is there appears to be no longer any priests or clerics in the devotion to Cord in the city,
Yes.
nor the temples manned. I was hoping you could shed some illumination on that. What happened?
Yes. It was perhaps 5, perhaps 6 months back now. They many of them came through, the former guards of the city. I guess those who became soldiers after that they were guards. Came through and started rounding up anybody that had a lick of divinity within them. Brought them for a purpose I know not. We attempted to send one of our own to go along with them, but they were ferreted out and returned, luckily.
Interesting. And the lay members, such as yourself, of the Church of Cord?
Many of them chose to return to the primary sanctuary and see if there were any assistance that could be offered. Many of them stayed, but many more were conscripted to begin fighting as well. Any able-bodied individual was conscripted away.
Interesting.
Sorry. That must have been hard.
Yes, it's been a lonely time being the only clergy in the city, but I've taken the task as proudly as I can.
Well,
Are there any other places of worship besides for Ayun and Cord here in Break?
Here in the city, certainly there are dozens of Temple to Cord, both large and small, and of course, he kind of gestures back towards the main thoroughfare where you came from, where the very large Temple of Cord that you're all familiar with. You've walked past it a couple of times. Is located. It's just outside the Longhouse, but those are all unmanned. And as for Ayun, we were the only temple in operation when this started, and we have now continued that.
I see.
okay. Now, how familiar are you with the not only the general knowledge of Cord, but also the more, I guess, intimate knowledge of the clergy or anything that they would know?
Of Cord? Of the worship?
Yes.
As much as one can. Many of my friends were of the Cord clergy, and we would swap stories and discuss our different deities. You know, Cord and Ayun were close combatants before Ayun transcended. So they share a cordial relationship as do us all here.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything specific you'd like to know? I'd be more than happy to share the knowledge that I have.
Oh, so much, my friend. So, one thing I have to inquire about is the throne that sits in the Longhouse is reserved for, so they say, Cord, but is there more to it than that?
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, it just seems curious that, you know, it's they have a temple, a major temple, quite literally next door.
Hmm.
So the symbology doesn't make sense.
Well, it is
Is it
true that the Longhouse is truthfully the primary temple of Kord here in the city. You know, that is where the body of Kord, it is said, is to reside if they shall ever return here to the Prime. The temple outside is for the lay people. We can't be holding the clergy of Kord can't be holding ceremony within the Long House every day. So the primary temple is where many of the clergy were stationed and where they held their daily services.
I see. And so, essentially the body of Kord is, from what we can understand, the Jarl.
Correct. As the myth says, you know, the blood of Kor runs through the Jarl's veins, and they too shall become the body. Should Kord return to walk upon this plane, the blood and the body shall be reunited, and they shall sit upon their throne again.
See, and that would be the part that I'm curious about. It almost seems like it's a culmination that's needed. The blood of Kord being the Jarls, and then the power as well.
Correct. The idea, I believe, behind it, and forgive me for my old ignorance. It's a different sort of religious text than I'm familiar. But that one day the crisis upon the Prime will be so great that many of the gods shall return in some form. That their power itself will be completely unleashed upon the Prime. For Kord, that would mean that reclaiming their body, reclaiming their blood, and being the one to lead the armies against the darkness again.
Interesting. Now, I get the feeling that there's far more to it. Is there a book or something they can read so that I can learn this without taking up too much time in the present?
Certainly. Let me go and retrieve one for you. And he kind of gets up and kind of shuffles back into the side room. You can hear some rustling. Give me 1 second. I have to send something.
Yep. Out of character, I can ask a ton of questions, and that's going to take forever. So let's not do that.
Yep.
I'll just bug Gary over the week.
Go get the Kord Bible.
I had to send a thing to Ryan. Ryan, check your messages.
I know.
Yep. He returns very quickly with a very well kept leather bound tome that he hands over to you. It's called The Tales of Kord. This is what I was able to retrieve. The joys, of course, of worshiping Ioun is that the knowledge that Ioun searches is for all knowledge, not knowledge within her own domain. So we keep many religious texts here. We're more than happy to lend this out to you at this time.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, most certainly.
Can I just say something quick before?
Sure.
Likely when he was gone, I would have made mention of this to probably Nick or Trev or someone who was close to me that I could whisper to.
Knowing Nix's position to you to make sure you don't throw a snowball at this poor man, she is probably the closest to hear you.
Right, so I would probably just whisper to her he's making some type of sound. It's his left foot every time, and it looks like he has some kind of limp or something. I don't know what to do about it. If I should ask him about it, or it's strange though.
Trying to think how Nyx would respond to that. And not Emily.
Yeah. Just keep an eye on it. See if you notice anything.
I mean, he's wearing. We can't see his legs.
Right, we can't
he's
see
wearing,
his legs.
that
Yeah, he's wearing very long robes.
Can't see. But it's making a sound.
Yeah, it's making a strange sound, not like a football, you know?
Like it's metal or wood.
Yeah, some kind of funky thing rather than a foot.
Funky thing.
Yeah, funky thing.
Metal or wood or
It's
Funky thing.
I really know. I don't know.
yeah. It's hard to tell either way.
Just keep an eye on it.
I'll keep an eye on that.
All right.
All right, good.
Now that you are aware, when he returns to the room and you're like really looking for it, yeah, there is like a small pull every time that he steps with his left.
You mean like a drag?
Yeah, like a small limp, almost imperceptible. Like very clearly, there is something that has been years
Not quite.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Yeah, no, nothing like that.
Dragging his feet.
Like honestly, the best way I have to describe it is my limp. Like, I have a limp on my left leg thanks to all of the wonders of my left knee. But it is not noticeable in any real way unless you're really looking at it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he's got a little something, not necessarily that's a different, not foot material, but that is like
Maybe.
Possible.
maybe that is, he just like had an injury or
Maybe he has a prosthetic leg or something. I don't know.
Well, that was what I was thinking when you said it originally, but now
I just don't know how to bring it up in Armil.
No,
because Armil understands the gravity of the situation because you explained to him that he should not throw a snowball at this person. So clearly,
for the record, I don't think you guys could hear us when he said, "What did you say when you walked into this man's room? You walked into this man's like house, basically. I think he lives here, doesn't he?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So like, you walked into this man's house. He greeted you, and you said like, "I've got something for you," and like had your hand behind your back. And so, like, for the record, like, she stopped him, and I actually, like, had a whisper conversation with him that you guys probably couldn't hear, reminding him of the context of the situation, and that he doesn't know who we are, and that the humans in Break have a long history of being a little bit racist, and a big group of no humans except one his house with no warning, and you came in with your hand behind your head and said, "I've got something for you."
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I won't throw the snowball.
When you put it like that.
Nick sees the big picture, man.
yeah.
Who's the big picture man?
Yeah.
Armil would understand though that if Nick says it, it's probably right.
Yeah. Yes.
Got a good head on his shoulders, that one.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, I would not bring it up unless it came up naturally. We would have no reason really to ask him questions about his very imperceptible limp.
I will also say, Nyx, just simply due to your general stealthiness of things, if you wanted to alert someone else in the party, you probably could. The Sai would probably be difficult because he's the one taking a lot of the attention. But if you wanted to let someone else know, it's possible.
Yeah, I might let Phaedra know because she has the most like medical knowledge, and so like there's a slight chance she might be able to achieve something that we couldn't.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to change this now, but the person who can detect magic constantly would also be useful, or would also like this knowledge. Just to find out if he had, like, just if we wanted to go down the prosthetic train, I might be able to help with that.
We'll just do a group of telephone.
Yeah, it's just like.
It's fine.
I would say in the conversation that Sai and he are having about the book, you could all become aware of this, let's say.
Okay. Except for Sai. Huh?
Except for Sai. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, let's do that.
Fine.
Fine, then let's do that.
Okay.
I have more important things.
Trev, no magic.
All right.
I did not think there was, is why I didn't think.
But Krem hands over the book, and says, and truthfully, if you'd like to take anything else out of the library, if you'd like to sit and look through these texts, we'd be more than happy to welcome any guests here.
We really appreciate
Thank you.
that. We actually are going to have to leave for a little while on a mission. but it would be really nice if, like, when we came back, we could come and talk to you again and maybe peruse the library a little more. We just kind of have something we have to get to very soon.
Of course. I will most certainly be here. And I'll keep your kettle warm.
Thank you so much. You've
Yes,
been
thank
very,
you.
very kind.
Thank you for the tea. Plants are awesome, aren't they?
They, especially tea. Yes.
Yeah, you're cool.
God.
You're a very interesting fellow.
Okay,
Are you
goodbye.
hitting on him? Like,
No, he just has good plants.
all right.
I do actually grow this tea myself.
Ooh,
It's
impressive.
it's
You?
yes, here.
Wait, you can grow stuff in here?
Yeah, how do you even do that? The soil is shit.
We
Wait.
Unfair question.
Ooh,
I got a hydroponic setup. It's all right.
Our
Watermelon
electric bill is through the roof.
we here.
You know you really got to make sure that the feds aren't like flying those airplanes overhead.
The sick
with
grow
the
off in the
lights,
back.
'cause
Yeah.
My buddy over there was able to tell me when the planes fly over, so I can turn the rig off and the heat.
All right, we're landing in
that
Hydro. Hang on,
so,
hang on.
like,
As he looks at you, Armel, and says, "Well, we here in the Temple of Ayun are blessed with certain knowledges as to how to properly cultivate and properly take care of plants, not just in a traditional mean."
stoner.
I very much enjoy that. And we will talk more, but my friend said that we need to go, so I trust her.
Very well.
That's great.
You remind me of like the two like middle school like field trips that go at the same from two different schools go to the same thing, and you meet the person at the place and you're like, oh well, my group's going over there, so bye. And like,
I've got the thought I can do
Honestly, what happened to me yesterday when I bumped into a person while we were walking through all of the
hell yeah.
like nonsense. They were like, "We're going over here," and I was like, "We're going over there. So we'll see you later."
So just so childlike the way you said
Yeah.
it. I love it.
He just sort of nods though and says, "Yes, I look forward to your return. Good luck in whatever mission you're all off to complete."
Brina.
Okay.
Thank you.
He kind of gestures you all out. Storm is quieted a little bit. It's probably getting towards noon, maybe 1 o'clock. It's quieting down, but still coming. There's probably a good 8 to 9 inches of snow on the ground right now.
Good lord.
It is a big one. You all make your way back through the city. Where would you like to go?
I guess back to the house for now so that we can get organized to go south.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Um,
So, what do we know about so we've got the situation as like general is we've got these plans we're making to head south and investigate that, and we also know that people are like the army is on the way here. Like,
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I just remember.
what do we know about the timing of all of this
Right.
as of like? Yeah, so it's like
go until the army.
yeah, I was like, do we have time to go and come back, or do we not?
Probably
Like,
not.
seems
It's going to
unlikely.
be flying on the airship. You could probably get down to where you're going in a day. Let me think about it. You could definitely get down there in a day. It would be a good like 12 to 13 hours of flying.
So
And then, but the army's not going to arrive until tomorrow, so you could probably be back to meet them there, provided this only takes a day.
yeah, that doesn't
We
sound
don't
like
know that.
that doesn't sound like a chance we feel like taking.
I mean,
That will be
I guess the big question is, do we want the army to just, once they get back to the city, disperse and go back to their lives? Or do we want to hold them together because we might need them to march south?
I think we should keep them together. I think you guys have like created a nice little militia that should stay like a nice little militia
Mhm.
Yeah.
if they're willing. Like I wouldn't want to force them to, but it seems like they would be willing to stay. So we should
Well,
offer at least.
Also, if my understanding of the situation is such, then they might be the only standing force that Break has right now.
Yeah, so I think they should just stand by and break for now. Like, I mean, they can go home, like, you know, but like they should still
Be ready to call the service.
barracks and stuff, right? Like, I feel like they should maybe still report to like training grounds every day until further orders are given at minimum. You know, like just to stay like ready, but
Okay.
they can probably otherwise just kind of be like guardsmen and on standby until we know more about what needs to happen next.
Okay.
Reasonable.
We can communicate that with the council.
Yeah, we have to let the council know we're going to head south anyway.
Yeah, also that.
So you guys just want to like hang a left and head up to the longhouse rather than going back to size?
Might as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
You make your way through the city. The longhouse gates are closed, but they are open for you upon your arrival. You walk in. The council is currently meeting, including Sylvia, who is still there representing from Drisselheim, as well as Jusket, who is also there, who just seems to be operating more as a transportation bodyguard for Sylvia more than anything else. They all kind of look to your arrival, and Crystal kind of stands up and goes, "You've all returned. How were your trips into the archives?"
Fruitful.
Interesting.
Informative.
Were you able to locate the heir?
We think we may have some information that will help get the government under control. In lieu of that, we were planning to have wait until the army gets here because we have the soldiers coming back. And then once the soldiers are back, we actually had to go try and find out some more information in the south with what's going on down there. And I think once we do that, we'll have some good information and be able to like really do something about the moral situation. But we can't quite yet.
That is absolutely wonderful to hear. We've been in negotiations and discussions, and she kind of gestures at Sylvia, who nods at all of you with a big smile. For some of the Drisselheimian forces to help us secure the city in the meantime. Many of them will be arriving today.
I think that would be excellent.
Wonderful. Yes, they should be arriving. She kind of looks at Sylvia, who nods and says, "They'll be arriving sometime within the next couple of hours via the teleportation circle. We're bringing mostly," and she kind of looks over all of you with a small smile. Bleh. Mostly Fieri men and their clan banners. So I promise you can trust them here.
Okay.
I know your feelings about some of our sex, so we figured it would be better to take someone you know.
No.
Emily side note. Wait, what?
So there are the various operating factors within Drisselheim. There are two of the clans you guys get along with very well. One of them you helped kind of destroy, mildly.
You said sex.
Yes.
Sex.
Yes, sex.
Yes. I knew that you were fumbling on that. I could tell.
You can't say that. You can't say that over live stream and have it not on just like that. Like,
I was like, I don't understand what I have against this. Like, okay, I get
My apologies.
two different sects.
Sex.
God, leave it to Emily.
Of all people.
He laughed.
Oh, I thought
That's not a surprise.
Literally.
Yeah, we all laughed.
Not a surprise.
I just misheard.
Fuck all of you.
Confused. Unsure if there were some weird.
Anyway.
That I had and didn't know about.
Anyway. Yes. Mostly people from Trunks and Gotenks' clan.
Cool.
Will be coming through. Crystal kind of sits and they kind of go back to their discussion before one of them, let's say Clement, kind of looks back over to you and goes, apologies, is there anything else you need from us? You're welcome to sit and stay, but I don't think you need to worry yourselves about tax law or rationing.
One.
I think we were into tax law.
I think we're good, but thank you so much for stepping up in this time that's very chaotic.
Of course, we're more than happy. This is our city, after all.
Absolutely.
Rivers, by the way, is still glaring at RML, just like with the heaviest contempt after their last interaction. Just like,
Oh, that reminds me. I'm gonna go over and talk to him real quick. I'm just gonna say.
I'll whisper at Aramel. This one you can throw the snowball at.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go over to him quietly and be like, I found another guy who knows how to grow plants. I'm gonna hook you up.
I know how to grow plants.
All right, cool. See ya.
Just seething contempt and rage.
You're my favorite person, man.
So good.
Sai, you're gonna say?
I don't know if this was answered the last time before we went to the catacombs, but like, would they have any sort of like process or ceremony so that we know who the dude is or like who the heir is?
We know that
I did not specifically.
we know that the throne will reject anyone of non-Cordian blood. Hence the years and years of making sure that the secret is hidden, that the Jarls are not of blood. But besides that, no. There's no ceremony we know about or anything like that. It seems mostly it's going to be a when they present themselves, we'll know sort of situation. I'm sure if one of the priests were here, they'd be able to tell you more. But honestly, I'm not a godly woman myself.
Yeah, that's fine. So I'm assuming you wouldn't know what rejected means.
Oh, the stories go back through history of criminals who thought they were of the blood of Cord, who would sit upon the throne, and their headless and emaciated corpses would be found the next day.
The next day.
Yeah, so it's not an instant thing?
Well, they would mostly break in the evenings, and they'd be found by the guards the next morning.
Okay, all right. But there's no eyewitness accounts.
We're not a barbaric people. We don't throw bodies onto chairs just to see what will happen.
I kind of glare at her and say, I mean more an usurper who wasn't of the line.
There are tales of a revolution not too many years ago of an individual claiming to be of Cord blood who we would assume sat upon the throne once they gained control of the Longhouse. But there are no written accounts of what happened to them, just that they sat upon the throne and were rejected and never walked upon this earth again.
I see.
Again, I say we're not a barbaric people, and we're not, but we do have, a criminal or something if we want to throw them on just so you can get a visual. But it seems dark even for all of you.
Yeah, that's not what we'll be doing.
Nyx is just like vomiting in the background. This idea.
You got someone else in mind. Don't worry.
So this might be weird, but if I look at the throne, do I feel anything?
Make a insight check. You're muted, Greg.
It's a weird question to ask.
Watch the throne.
There you go. That's exactly what I said.
I know. I figured.
You can read lips.
I can.
Well, I rolled a 1, so I'm not even sure it's a chair.
You feel inside you this welling of energy and power as you look upon this beautifully sculpted iron throne. and realize that this might be the prettiest chair you have ever looked at.
At least top 5.
And it is
The damn nice chair.
It is bare
Utters the
to,
words.
to the rest of you. It just looks like the most boring, like large fucking chair of uncomfortable you've ever seen. But for whatever reason, Sai is just drooling over this thing. Just like,
Man, look at those lines and the way that they sculpted it. That is something else.
Yeah, just good stuff all around.
especially because like the framing of it is in iron and steel, but the seat itself is made of marble, so it just looks like the most uncomfortable thing you could possibly imagine. Regardless, no, that's all you feel.
Kind of look back at the guys and just like, not today.
Where's
We're
the
not
fun
gonna
in
just
this?
jump into that. We'll circle back.
Trev grabs him by the collar and just throws him at the chair.
Come on, man.
Okay. They go back to what they were discussing. It sounds like they're discussing how to ration out some of the supplies that were brought in from Jerusalem. There was an emergency ration done yesterday that you guys were aware of starting, but it seems like they're discussing how to get the rest of them out there. You all make your way.
Like an army marching in.
Exactly. Like the city needs resources right now, and with the expected cold but unexpected weather patterns, it's going to be a long winter here in Break for sure. So you all make your way back into the storm. It's quieting down, but still going. Does another snowball fight kick off, or do you guys just head back to Size?
Nope.
Size.
Armel attempts and is very quickly squashed and brought back. When you arrive, there is a guest, and by a guest, I mean the door is open, and the fire is out.
Sword out.
Sword out.
Chicken Man?
There is no one inside the room when you enter. Just seems like there was someone broke in and then are either gone or who knows.
I mean, I can't imagine I would have had anything valuable.
Oh God, no.
This
Oh
in
yeah,
the back.
this place is bare bones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna activate True Sight.
Okay, you free?
Do I see any invisible people?
Nice.
You do actually.
Cool.
You do in fact.
So broken.
Standing very clearly invisible by the hearth where the fire would be if it hadn't gone out due to the open door and the snow kind of coming in, is a hunched over green scraggly haired, looks like a woman, with very long fingers that seems to be muttering to itself in a language you don't understand. Sort of like looking around and looking at you guys in particular now that you've entered with like this sickening grin.
Can I sense unsealed?
Can we hear anything?
Oh, heavily.
I was gonna say, Sai.
Yeah.
I think a friend of yours is here.
As you say that, she's sort of like, hey. Yeah, shit.
You can drop it, you know. I'm just talking to her directly.
Well, maybe I prefer to look like this. And by look like this, I mean,
Invisible?
fuck you. And she vanishes it. And you all see this horrible-looking hag just appear in the corner. She smells like swamp water and decay.
Did we not smell her before?
It's whatever she was using was keeping a lot of this like
I
pent
see.
up. She smells like decay. She looks like she came out of a swamp because she did.
Yep.
And those of you who are of arcane sort of who know of the arcane arts know this to be a green hag specifically. Slightly less evil, but not heavily less evil.
Still pretty bad.
Yep. She sort of looks at you, sighing, and goes, "You ever got to leave me here in the cold?"
Did we not?
What are you doing in my house, Siobhan?
Wait, did we leave the fire on when we left?
You did.
Yeah.
Did you turn the fire off?
She let it die.
Okay.
And
Do you not know? Okay, I'm just gonna go over and use like a cantrip to light the fire up again real quick.
Everyone, be careful if you talk to her. She's tricky.
Yes, tricky. That's the most polite way to put it, I'm sure.
Also, if
I'll
anybody's
ask
looking,
her, like,
my
is this
sword
okay
is still
with
very
the-
much
with the
drawn.
fire?
Oh, your sword is drawn. Okay.
Oh, I never put it away when I saw her.
Okay.
You want to have a snowball fight?
Oh my god.
I don't want to have a snowball fight with you, fuckhead.
The fire is on.
Alright, just gonna cut to the chase real quick. So, am I killing her?
No.
Alright,
No,
cool.
if anybody's gonna kill her, it's me.
Alright, cool.
I was gonna ask the question: Am I gonna kill her?
I'd like to see you try, skinny boy.
Siobhan, if you would join me in the smithy, where we can talk.
Very well. Sort of like half stumbles, half walks towards the smithy area, past all of you. Just this horrible, horrible looking thing.
I'll just-
Can you
I'll
can you
turn this-
prestidigitate some like not stinky smelly
Yeah.
stuff?
I'll turn
it's
to
done.
Trev and like point to my eyes and point to the door as I walk. Just, so he knows.
Okay.
And I thought Marleman's girlfriend was weird.
Wow.
Open the door, a finger comes out, just wave around a little bit.
Oh my god.
She kind of looks at you as you enter and goes, "Well, sweet lips, I got the information you were looking for."
All right.
You're not
Give
helping.
me the.
Sweet lips and skinny boy. That's right.
That's the
Show
next
me-
comic book.
She also called Eramel a fuckhead. Like, she's going all over the place with these ones.
Tell me
You didn't
everything
call me anything.
in
That's
full,
nice.
honestly, leaving out no details, and we'll call your debt complete.
Very well. She sort of like shuffles up and says, "Well, you certainly did have family, and some of which I know you've already taken care of.
Oh god damn it.
Some of which life has taken care of as well, as I'm sure also already aware of. But I was able to track at least 2 currently living members of your family as well, both on your mother's side. One seems to be living somewhere in the Great Forest, operating as a druid somewhere.
The Gray Forest.
The Great Forest. The same place Armel's from, in fact.
Put some respect on that name.
You can't hear her.
Great-
She's
sorry,
in another
Great
room.
Oh, sorry.
Is there a name to go with that, or a description?
Yes. The name is Vanan.
Curiously, is somebody taking notes?
What?
I can't at the moment.
You don't play Dragon Age.
Please, because
I don't play. Is that a character in Dragon Age?
It's not a character in Dragon Age. In Dragon Age, Vanan is Elven for like my love, my heart.
Huh.
Aww.
So
That's so
that's
sweet.
what your elf lovers call you sometimes.
That's cute.
Didn't
Yeah,
know that.
cute.
Awesome.
I did.
And
Because of
that's
course.
all that counts.
Fair enough. Can you
Now I
spell
want
that
to
right
make the
there?
other one's name Steve or something.
Actually,
spell
in
that
Dragon
name?
Age.
Yeah.
Vanan, Vanna.
Okay, cool. I will go back through the video later and take notes when I am not kitty sitting.
Sorry, Vanan.
Got it.
V-A-N-A-N, Vanan. Okay.
Vanan.
Okay.
The other seems to be operating a trade somewhere in the floating city in the plane of air.
A floating city in the plane of air.
Yes.
Okay. What's their person's name?
That person's name would be Viz.
Steve.
Bless you. What?
Viz. V-I-S.
V-I-S. Viz.
Oh, you could have been. You could have had a Steve.
And what is the name of the city in the plane of air?
Gary has to remember. Give me a second.
So many notes.
There are so many notes you guys are asking for the past couple sessions, and I'm never sure. One day I'll go through and like actually compile all the notes into like easy documents.
Fair enough.
Oh, I have to come up with a new name. Can't call it that anymore.
Oh God, I need to know after this what that was.
Once we're not on air, I'll tell you what that was called at some point in time. Let's go with Pick Outpost. PIC Outpost.
Pick
Oh.
Outpost. Okay.
Okay.
In a plane of air in the Great Forest. And those are the only.
Not in the Great. So
Those are two
this is operating a trade shop on Pick, and Vanan is a druid somewhere within the Great Forest.
Okay. And how are they related to me? Like, what would their relationship to me be?
They're both cousins on your mother's side.
Cousins on my mother's side. Okay.
You would assume both probably full elves.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any more? Is there any more information?
Unfortunately, that's all I could gather. They did have a brother as well, who was operating as a diplomat, who apparently died earlier this year.
Yeah.
But I believe you're already aware of that.
How far back can you trace that bloodline?
I only know so much, Mr. Valenkier. I wish I could tell you more. I'm not all-seeing, though. I can only bounce around and talk to some mud.
Indeed. Very well.
Am I done? Can I go?
Your debt is paid. You can go and never return to this house.
Oh, you would have to pay me more money than God's green earth. Goodbye, Mr. Valenkier. I'll be in my swamp if you need me. Don't need me. And she kind of tumbles into moss and is gone.
Is there just a pile of moss left on the ground?
There is.
I'll burn it.
Okay.
Oh. Come on,
Fuck that.
sacred flame it.
Yeah, I will open the door up again, and if Phaedra still has her true sight on, I'll ask her to sweep the room, just to make sure she's gone.
Yeah.
She is gone. The moss.
Check if there's anything else, just to be safe. Like while he's having the conversation with the hag, just kind of give it a once over.
No, house is clean.
You're good.
Moss smells peaty.
Do you want me to burn that?
It's good bog moss.
I already did.
All right. So were you supposed to kill her or something?
No. You remember when I said I had people looking into things for me?
Yes, I do remember.
Into my family?
Mm-hmm.
That was one of them. She owed a favor. She owed a debt to the hunt, and I called it in to find out more information on my family after the whole, head in a bag that kind of looked like me.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's why. I was like, oh, right, that.
Yeah. So, I'll just kind of quickly go over everything that she told me. Aramil, how familiar are you with the druid circles in the Great Forest?
Probably decently. Probably not I probably wouldn't be the most social guy, but I might know him.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are circles. There are, for the most part, druids kind of hang out in ones, maybe twos. The circle you were a part of was actually one of the larger ones, had 4 people in it. But the name sounds familiar, though you can't call to mind exactly who it is. It's a very, very big forest as well.
Great forest.
The best forest.
I could take us there if you want. I've got the tree thing.
I can also try to scry on these people if I have a name and a connection.
I think that would be preferable, because as much as I want to just kind of, drop everything and run to these places, we have more pressing shit to do.
Well, walking around the forest is awesome.
Yeah, we're going to have to go back there eventually, I think, but
Nice.
I'll try to come up with a way to make contact definitely, Phaedra, I'm going to ask you to help me scry later, but...
Weird question. Do you have anything belonging to that side of the family on you at all?
Nothing.
Like an item or anything?
I don't think anything.
Okay. That'll give me a focus. That'll help. All right, never mind.
Sorry.
No. I can still try it. It just, that helps.
Not to be
Yeah.
stupid, but we got rid of the head, right?
What?
Do we
I
still have
want
the
to say
head?
yes.
Is it in
Or
the bag of
anything
holding?
from the head.
It's possible.
I don't
I
remember.
don't think we ever took the head out of the building that we found it in.
Yeah.
I believe it was actually burned. I thought it was sacred flamed.
Oh,
hang on.
right, yeah.
That,
We took-
wasn't it
we took
destroyed
the-
after we interrogated it?
Oh yes, it was. That was exactly what happened.
Oh, right.
You guys cast Speak with Dead, and then you destroyed it.
Was there, I feel like we would have taken anything else with there. There was like a book.
There was a book.
Was there
that
any other
was.
objects or anything?
There was a very, very scary knife that Nyx currently has in her possession.
Right, scary knife.
Use that.
Hang on.
About my knife?
It's scary.
I mean, it is, but like,
Remember, you found a brother to the ceremonial knife, and you stored it away because, as evil as the you now know the name. I should just use the name. As evil as Snakebite is, this thing was even more evil, even though they came out of the same forge.
Oh, is that the one I hid away?
Eviler,
Or was
That
that
is the one you hid away.
That's the one I hid away. Okay. We know that dude was an ambassador. Did he ever say where he was an ambassador from?
Nope, just an ambassador from the elven people.
Does this ring any bells with the whole Petunia thing?
Yeah, it's similar, but
It
seems
sounds like it does, but it sounds like it might just be
that might just be DM coincidence.
coincidental. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know we've had like other planes of existence. Cities have popped up. Has before this city from the city of air popped up or whatever before?
Yeah, Marleman has a teleportation circle to it.
That
I sure do.
Thank you. Because I know we had we had the tree is hiding in the plane of Earth or whatever.
Yep.
But I was just trying to make sure I was keeping track of all the different stuff. Okay.
This is my full list. I think I have more, but hold on.
Whoops.
Oh, it did not copy into that chat very well.
Regardless, we're not gonna really do anything about this right now.
Yeah. No, we're not. But one thing
Right.
we might be able to do is...
Oh, maybe you don't have one. But I give you one.
Who here can speak Primordial?
Marleman, probably.
I mean,
Can you? That'd be
I
interesting.
don't believe I speak Primordial. I don't.
You
think
did.
it's on
You
my
did with a
list.
spell once, but that was
Yeah, I have.
No.
Hold on. I have.
I have Celestial and Draconic and Infernal.
it. You could always cast another spell on Trev and see if this one rolls the die.
I'd rather
Don't
not
you
take the
have,
risk.
don't you have tongues?
No, he only has one.
Yeah.
The spell tongues.
No,
Oh, I thought we had that. I think maybe I do.
I
But
did
I-
at
You
one
both
point,
have
but I
access
got rid
to
of
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can get it tomorrow if we need it. Marleman has his stuff changes by level, right?
hmm
Okay.
My
So-
stuff. Yes.
Hear me out on this. My plan is, while we're exploring what's going on to the south,
Mhm.
I'm going to call up an air elemental and a sprite and send one to each place just to kind of make contact and see if I can deliver a message.
Okay.
I could turn into an air elemental and go somewhere.
Not what we. Yes. Yes,
Did
you
we
can.
determine that you can't communicate with other elementals when you're an elemental?
Ooh.
He kind of can. It's not an easy process, but it's not impossible.
Okay.
I thought the ruling on that was you can speak elemental if you're an elemental, but you can't understand elemental.
Yes, that is correct. He can
Yeah.
communicate one way. The other way, Not so much.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, we'll make it work. But that's inherently my plan. What do people think of that?
I like that.
Seems fine.
Sure.
Your elemental can go to the other plane and come back without losing concentration with it.
No, I will have to conjure it back up probably within a couple of days to see if it has any information.
You might also have to bribe it, but we could talk about
Which, yep, absolutely. I mean, they're bound to fight for me. They're not necessarily bound to be couriers.
that. That is correct.
There's a bunch of great air around here, though. So
Yeah. But just so we can kind of wrap this up and get things moving. Is there anything else you guys want to do on this day before you settle into rest before tomorrow beginning your trip down south?
I assume Sai wants me to scry.
Do you want to do that today? You can.
I mean, if we're not going anywhere today, then yeah, I can use it up today and it won't be an issue.
Yes.
Okay.
The question is, does our group want us to do that today?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it seems harmless and maybe helpful.
Okay. Fuck it. Let's do it.
All right, which one first? Great Forest or Plane of Air?
The Great Forest is on this plane of existence, right?
That is correct.
Yes,
So that probably has a better chance of succeeding.
it does.
Well, all right. Let's start there, and we'll see what we get from out.
All right. What's your save DC?
17 wisdom, I believe.
No go on that one. You see a woman, an elven woman, with very long, very, very light blonde hair, with a lot of leaves and a lot of sticks just kind of shoved through it. She seems to be on the ground, either tending to a plant or a flower or something like that, just completely surrounded in woods, and seems to be idly talking as well.
Can I hear what she's saying?
You can. She is speaking in beast speak, so you can't understand it.
She's just going like animal noises the whole time.
Basically, like more specifically, a lot of chitters, like a lot of very like sort of things. And as you're just sort of like getting a scene, you realize that there are probably about 50 beetles that are lining her arms.
Cool.
As she is kind of like digging into the soil, just kind of doing some druid shit. If
All right.
Armel had seen this, he probably would have been really excited. That's about it.
I will very quickly draw her and show it to Aramel and be like, does she look familiar at all? Probably not, but just hazarding a guess.
She looks like a squirrel or something, I'm sure.
No, she looks like a person.
Oh,
She looks like an elf, bro.
Oh, he
based
thought-
on what
okay.
you were saying, I thought she was in an animal form. Like
No.
animal things.
No.
I don't think I would have just drawn a cat and shown
That
it.
would have been really funny. Oh, damn it. That would have been way better if she was just a squirrel.
The same to Aramil.
But yeah, she looks familiar. You've probably run across her sometime in the past 300 years, but you're not certain when or where or what part of the forest or why.
Forest. I'll ask some of my friends. I've got a couple of deer that are really getting around and know everything.
If you know anyone who's a big fan of beetles, I guess.
Oh,
That's
beetle.
who she was talking to.
My
I've
dad.
got some beetle friends.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you want to try the other one?
These guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
First off, 5% chance for it to fail. It does not.
Well, that's good.
The save, on the other hand, whoop, no, it's cocked. No go. So you see another elven woman. This one much better dressed. She's wearing a very well-tailored coat and a pair of really beautiful pants as well. Seems to be operating a counter in some sort of store, talking over things with a very long, or not very long, a short gray-haired dwarf with a very long beard that's kind of tucked into his belt. They seem to be discussing some trade negotiations or some goods or some kind. You hear her say, and I truly do appreciate the shipment you brought back from me. But I just can't pay this amount for this quality of goods. You know that, Jerso. We've been doing this for years. And he says, well, you know, the market's not great right now. You know, I have to mark things up as we go. So if you're uncomfortable with the prices, of course, you can go somewhere else. And she goes, no, I'm not going to go somewhere else. I'm just going to pay you the amount that we've agreed upon. And he says, you know, they're getting into it about prices or something. It kind of comes out over the course of this conversation. They're talking about pottery specifically, some pottery from the Plane of Fire. As just goes, well, you know, I have to keep flying. And if that's the only way I have to keep flying, I'm going to mark things up as we go. And she says, well, I'll pay the agreed upon price and a fourth on top. How is that? And he goes, well, that's not quite good enough. You know, we had agreed upon this, but I understand, you know, and they're just going back and forth. And the whole minute of you scrying is just some intense price negotiations from two people who have very clearly been doing this for a very long time and have a pretty good relationship, but will also not take each other or not take shit from either one.
Can I see what Jerzo looks like?
He's
I can get an idea of what his face looks like, right?
Yeah, he's a very old dwarf, probably pushing his 6th, 700th year. Very long gray beard that is kind of tucked into his pants, bald completely up top. Rugged, thin, especially for a dwarf, but looks sturdy, especially for as old as they are.
Okay. When that's done, I'll say, well, she was talking to Jerso.
Well, that was convenient of her.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll quickly draw some sketches of what they generally look like for later.
Well, that's a good sign then that Jerzo is in the airplane.
Well, he also
Yeah.
he mentioned like getting stuff from the fire plane, so it's possible he's jumping between different planes, not just the airplane. Sorry.
No, he's using the airplane to jump between the planes.
He did mention flying, so was he the one who had the
he's
airship?
the one that hasn't been seen on this plane for 35 years, but was last seen on an airship.
Okay, yeah.
So he might just be bouncing in between the elemental planes, making a business.
Yeah, and they're all connected pretty easily, so it wouldn't be that hard to go between them.
Okay.
That
Well,
makes
that's
sense.
good to know.
All
In
right.
a multitude of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did
So
I get any sense of where he was going next, or was their conversation just all business?
All business.
okay.
You know, he mentioned having other deliveries to make, but
You didn't say
Yeah.
where.
no.
Okay.
Then maybe
It sounded more of a like, look, I have to leave. We have to stop this. There has to be an end to this negotiation at some point, sort of conversation.
Fair enough.
Okay. Maybe my messenger can kill two birds with one stone here.
If they go now.
Yeah, I mean, it should be in the plane for a little while. Or Jerzo should. Maybe he has other deliveries to make, but
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, we'll. Considering real life time, I'm assuming we'll
Yeah, but we
do
can
that next time.
Yeah, we can touch on that later.
Okay.
For now, we're going to call it there. We'll be back soon with you guys attempting to free a man who is being hyper tortured.
So, and we
Super torture has upgraded.
You've met a very nice- Yeah.
Checking up on all these other people.
You've met a very nice priest.
We
Say
did.
goodbye.
He seems very seems very nice.
All right, we'll be back.
Oh, Gary's gone. Oh no, it's still live. He hit the
And he
button
didn't
again.
stream.
We're in charge now, bitches. All right.